One of the things I love about being a part of the cattle industry is seeing all the things my fellow cattlemen are doing to care for their families, their animals, and their land. So it's exciting to report that this is a 20th anniversary for the Environmental Stewardship Award, given by NCBA and the National Cattlemen's Foundation, and sponsored by Dow AgriSciences and Natural Resource Conservation Service. Over the next few weeks, we'll share with you the stories of the 7 regional winners of this year's 20th Annual Award. We begin with a trip to Region 1 and the great state of Virginia.
With original structures that date back to before the Civil War, historic Claremont Farm is uniquely situated at the base of Virginia's Blue Ridge Mountains, not far west of our nation's capital.
Claremont Farm was started in 1957 by George A. Horkin Jr. and at that point it was a smaller farm, about 300 acres, and over the years has grown to a farm of 1,600 plus acres.
We are 50 miles west of Washington, D.C. We're in the Virginia Piedmont, and we're at the base of the Blue Ridge Mountains. And challenges that we face are having a cattle herd and being compatible with the environment.
Brothers Carl Lindgren and Tony Horkin managed the farm together along with their mother, Anne Marie. Their late father, George Horkin, was an early champion of conservation easements and used them to protect Claremont Farm for future generations.
We have 3 generations working on the farm right now. My mother, who does a lot of gardening on the rose garden and has always helped out on the farm when need be, either with the hay, with the cattle, the bookkeeping, things of that nature. We have Tony and myself, who are the general partners and operators of the day-to-day basis of the farm. We have our nephew Josh and my daughter Erica, who do work on the farm.
Do a little of everything. It depends kind of on the season and what we're doing here on the farm. We have anything from general upkeep to in the fall I pretty much handle all the heifer calving.
With rolling pastures and hay ground, Claremont Farm is primarily a cow-calf and backgrounding operation. The 1,650 acres are home to more than 200 purebred Angus cow-calf pairs that rotate through 33 fenced grazing units.
We do rotational grazing, pasture to pasture. It's not intensive grazing, but it's a grazing pattern that has worked on this farm to maintain the health of the pasture.
Probably the most important thing about this farm is that it does represent a long-term stewardship commitment, and will stand with protecting both wildlife, protecting cattle production, as well as the water quality.
With the farm's location in the Chesapeake Bay watershed, Carl and Tony give special attention to water management. They've worked in partnership with NRCS to install fence along 4.5 miles of tributaries and a number of acres of forested wetlands in order to limit livestock access.
This operation is one of my favorites to work with. They're all focused on the same goal of having a good, healthy herd and making a little bit of money off the farm, and also looking out for the environment. And they've done just an incredible job of protecting this resources in this area, both water and soil.
We've done several projects with NRCS, and without a partnership as strong as that, it would be very hard to do. I mean, with their guidance, with the cost share, with their support, whenever you needed it, they were always there.
Beyond cattle and hay, timber on the farm is selectively harvested in 20 to 25-year rotations from the forested land that cattle no longer have access to. And the family has taken action to protect 130 acres of riparian buffers, serving as wildlife corridors, connecting the once fragmented forests in the area.
We're careful to put the fence 12 inches off the ground so that wildlife can get under the fence, and then deer can jump over the height of the fence, which is about 47 inches.
We take great pride in the conservation practices we've implemented on the farm, great pride in the cattle we produce, great pride in the way we manage our timber, great pride in the bird life, the wildlife, just the way of life that we have here.
Through 3 generations, Claremont Farm continues to grow and implement new conservation practices to care for their Angus cattle, the land, and the water.
My hopes for the future of Claremont is to continue being good stewards of the land. And I believe that we've done our share in protecting the rivers and the Chesapeake Bay. And I would really like to see the next chapter in Claremont Farm be about becoming carbon neutral.
Being able to keep what Carl and Tony started years ago and what my grandfather started years ago, and being able to keep that going.
It's a special place. It's an enclave of conservation, of good stewardship for the land, and we want to pass that on to every generation that comes behind us.
What a beautiful operation.